So hi again everybody and welcome to another episode of Jonnychipz Weekly. My name is John Lunn, aka Jonnychipz, and this is episode number 60 on Friday the 18th of February 2022. Storm Eunice is a blowing a gale outside, but this episode is called Community Day. Let's jump straight on in. So, yes, hello everybody and thanks for tuning in. Welcome to this episode of Jonnychipz Weekly for all your Azure news and updates, your community callouts, Welsh Azure user group news, and just a little bit about what I've been up to for the last week in technology and cloud technology. So, without further ado, let's jump on straight into our community callouts. So yes, this week, this episode is called Community Day and it's hinged around a fantastic event that actually took place yesterday, organised by Adam Jackson and Steph Rogers et al. At Microsoft. It was a fantastic day full of community activity, community content, from technical how-to videos to being respectful of who you are as a person and towards other people, of course. You know, it's just some fantastic sessions. I mean, I was grateful to be able to go on and speak about the Welsh Azure user group with my good friend Matt Fatunka, who helps co-organise that group. So yeah, it was a fantastic day. So I thought I'd kick off the community callouts with a little bit about that. So, like I said yesterday, Chris Reddington was on there as well. He came on and joined us for our Welsh Azure user group news. He was representing it with the hoodies, which was cool to see. And it was really a great little bit of time, really, just to kind of be grateful to all the people that have kind of supported the group and all the other fantastic community groups across the UK. So yeah, we did that yesterday. You can see here that there were other little announcements called out by the likes of Chris Reddington with some of the new things that he's got coming up as well, which was cool to see. So looking forward to seeing Lunch Bites, which is going to be run every other Wednesday. I think it'll be starting relatively soon. I can't see the date on there, but that's going to be an every other Wednesday thing on Learn TV. So stay tuned for that. But there were some other fantastic announcements and bits of information, so you can watch that on a replay if you go over to I think it's Microsoft Developer on YouTube and have a look down there. You can find that video. It's a good 7 hours plus long, so you can skip through some of the sections or find the content that you're looking for. But yeah, it's a great little session. So thanks to Adam and Steph for getting that sorted. There's a couple of pictures that I kind of put onto the Twitters to show what we were talking about. So me and Matt kind of just did a bit of a session around the Welsh user group and the impact on COVID with virtual events, and the fact that we kind of all had to learn how to do these video recordings and get equipment, microphones and cameras and things like that, and how we came about it. So I actually drew a little bit of a diagram as to how we ran the hybrid event for the Welsh user group back in September. So yeah, you can see that there's kind of three separate audiences: an in-person audience that's with you in the room, an audience, we do our events over Teams, Microsoft Teams, so you've got that audience with a chat facility in Teams, but we also restreamed it out to various social platforms, so then you've got your stream audience. So it's about how you can kind of keep all those audiences engaged, with moderators, speakers and organisers. So yeah, it was a great little chat. So go and check that out if you can. So yeah, huge shout out to Adam and Steph for organising that day. It was a really good fun event. So thanks for allowing me to be a part of it as well. Okie dokie, moving on. I noticed Nigel Poulton has released a new book around Kubernetes, and that's Cloud Native Associate Exam, that KCNA. Again, I'm very early in my Cloud Native journey, to the extent that I've done bits and pieces around the edges. I've done no real focus study as such, apart from an open hack I did back last year, and I've done some little dabbling with labs and things with Kubernetes, well, AKS mainly in Azure. So this concept of cloud native has been around for a long time. It's not going anywhere soon. It's only growing. It's getting more prevalent in the industry. It's great to see. There's some really cool ways of working with containerization and cloud native in general. So Great book. I think this would be a great book if you are looking to study towards that or get your head around what cloud native actually means. Just thought I'd call that out because Nigel, as we know, is one of the prevalent people in the community around containerization and Kubernetes. So you can pretty much rely on his content and especially his books. So yeah, go and check that out. Yes, in other news, the Global Azure community event is happening on the 5th to the 7th of May, and the call for papers is now open. So if you are interested in speaking, head on over to Global Azure on Twitter, click the link, and go and submit your session. In other news, yes, we've got this new user group set up, the Microsoft Cloud Security User Group by a few other brilliant people around the community, Charlie, and Chris. They've got this event set up on the 24th of February, their first event of the Cloud Security User Group. So go and check that out. Go and sign up. I believe they're on Meetup, so go and find them and go and like them and follow them and RSVP to the event and give them some support. So yeah, we're going to look forward to seeing that one. Thomas Thornton and Joe Carlisle every year run an Azure Spring Clean event where it's community content. If you're interested in speaking or submitting something, head on over to the azurespringclean.com. I believe we are very close to them closing. Yeah, you can see Thomas is saying there. I believe it might be today or tomorrow. So if you are interested in submitting something towards the Spring Clean for 2022, go and do that pretty quickly. Go and check that out. .NET Knots, John Staveley is doing a session on the 28th of February. So getting started with IoT on the Raspberry Pi using Csharp and .NET 5. Look, for those of you that know me and my journey, I was following Pete Gallagher, Pete_codes on Twitter. And look, this is the kind of session that really inspired me and got me interested in the world of IoT. This is undoubtedly going to be another one of those sessions that is there to kind of help people, how do we get started with things like Raspberry Pis and how do we start thinking about how IoT works? So this is going to be a fantastic event. Look, I'd urge anybody to go and watch it, even if it's just for the sake of a little bit of interest, because I can guarantee you'll learn a little bit of knowledge with these kinds of events, and they're good fun as well. They lead on some wonderful things. So go and check that out. Next up, Steph has put this tweet out on the reactor. So there's a new, I don't know if this is a new series. Yeah, so every month there's going to be an Azure gaming team. Will bring you people in to talk about how do you actually create and develop games on cloud platforms. So I'll explain why that became a little bit of interest to me in a little while when I talk about what I've been up to this week. But I think that's a really cool concept, and hopefully it'll take you into other areas. I'll explain in a second, okay? So gaming in the cloud is all about using and developing games, whether they're 2D or 3D game environments, using some kind of a gaming engine and development platform with some kind of code that's associated with that game. So cool to see. I'm certainly going to try an RSVP, and I'm certainly going to try and... The thing is, there's far too much content, so I'm certainly going to try and join in and really try and follow this series. And I know Chris Reddington has been doing some great episodes around cloud gaming, and it seems to be... let me get to it, and I'll explain a little bit later my thoughts behind it, but go and tune into that one. That's cool to see. As I mentioned earlier, Chris is setting up a bi-weekly show on Wednesday. So there we go. It's starting on the 16th. Oh, actually, so it started 2 days ago. There we go. Of course it did. I saw it come up. Oh, hello. Where was I? So go and check that out. Go and follow Chris and Matt Fatonka was, I believe, the first guest. They were talking about API management and DevOps. You can head on over to aka.ms/lunchbites. But look, it's fantastic to see Chris and the team in the UK starting to bring out some fantastic content and weekly shows. So really excited to see where that goes. Go and check that out. It's going to be awesome, undoubtedly. The wonderful world of IoT. Olivier Bloch posted this out a couple of days ago. There's been some updates to Iot Central. And Iot Central is one of those components of Azure that kind of tries to be a holistic overview, app develop, almost like a solution development platform for IoT and IoT devices. So they've made some updates to it, and Olivier talks through them all here. So there's some videos on the web page, and of course They talk about the architecture with the things, the devices, and the gateway, or devices or edge devices, how they can connect and hook up and send messages to IoT Central, which, a core component of that is the IoT Hub, and, how the IoT Hub sends things back. Look, it's all documented in there, and they've done some really good upgrades to IoT Central to try and make our lives a little bit easier when we're delving into that world. So go and check that out. Go and head on over to IoT Central and start looking at some of that information, because, like we say, it's recently been updated, so it's good to see. So, yeah, thanks for that, Olivier. Much appreciated. And finally, for my community call-outs, this caught my eye earlier on in the week from Marie Anastasia. International Women in Science Day was, I believe it was last Friday, actually. I missed it last Friday. It might have gone out, it would have gone out a little bit after I did my episode. So thanks for pointing this out to us, Marie Anastasia. And it's a valid point, and I thought I'd leave community call-out on this for today. So, girls, don't let anyone tell you that you can't deal with something that you love. So the point being is that this is women in tech, women in science. It's a very poignant subject that I've spoken with on my In Conversation with a recent guest that's due to come out fairly soon, Vanessa. Fantastic conversation, and there's so many inspirational women in the industry. And I think all I ever try and gravitate to is those positive vibes. Don't let anything negative. If you're speaking negative about something, you're doing it wrong, as far as I'm concerned. If you're going on social media and you're spouting negativity about something, whatever it is, sorry, but I think you're doing it wrong. It's all about the positivity. Let's look on the positive side of things. Keep the momentum up. Let's keep going with things. Let's try and bat away that negativity, because it really is a drainer. All it does is it sucks the life out of you. So stop doing it, people. Stop doing the negativity. Focus on the positive side of things, please. You might think I'm wrong, and that's your prerogative. Absolutely fine. Tell me in the comments that I'm wrong. Please do. Let me know, because I think this is a passionate area where I've seen so many people lately across social media saying and doing things, and, for all good intentions, but it's a negative slant. And with negativity creates negativity. Keep it positive, peeps. Anyway, that's my soapbox moment over with. Let's head back on over to my big face. Okie dokie. So next up, we shall have a look at, what should we have a look at? Should we go through, let's go through a little bit about the Welsh Azure user group, because we had that event this week as well, and it was a very good event. So let's go and talk a little bit about that for a second. So yes, on Wednesday this week, we had Heiko Bren and Marcel Lupo on to talk to us about, Heiko was on to talk to us about Script Runner and really using PowerShell to automate those Azure management tasks. And he's got a 5-step process for that, which fantastic talk, really engaging, loved that one. Heiko's a fantastic guy anyway, that I've recently become acquainted to, and he's a man after my own heart, loves his music, and he loves doing fun things in the community. So I'm looking forward to doing more stuff in the future with Heiko as well. Great to have him on. I've done a recent In Conversation with Heiko as well, that we'll talk about again in a second. But great guy, great session. And needless to say, then we had Marcel Lupo on, and wow, what a session that was. Absolutely fantastic from Marcel. There's Heiko's session, but Marcel came on to talk about how you can automate Azure decommissioning of resources in Azure. So let's just say that you're spinning things up, maybe you're spinning them up for test or development purposes, and using tags in Azure and setting a decommissioning date on resource groups or on resources themselves. Marcel took us through, and he's made this script available through one of his GitHub repos, but he took us through how we can automate the deletion of those things and keep a log of it using table storage. So just a fantastic way of using serverless compute and function apps to, written in PowerShell, to basically work off tags in a particular subscription, whether they're tags on resource groups or resources themselves, running through every time there's a date mismatch or there's a date that's expired. So in other words, you want to retire something, this script will automatically decommission that and create a log entry. And you can override it by using locks. It was a really cool session, and Marcel went into a great level of detail. And of course, he's blogged about it. So go and follow Marcel. He is at PWD9000. And check out the playlist below and take a watch of both Heiko's and Marcel's sessions, because they were fantastic. A little bit of cough. Okay, so moving on, this month we've got our very own Matt Fatonka coming on. Again, this is going to be a really cool session. I'm not going to give the game away too much just yet, but it's around building apps with Blazor and SignalR. But the question you've got to ask is what kind of app is being built? Really looking forward to seeing that. And we got Elkan Yusubov, who's a friend of the show, who's been my roving reporter, and he's also contributed some fantastic articles around Bicep and DevOps over the last few months with his Cloud Marathoner. Why can't I speak? I can never speak properly. He's been doing some fantastic things across the community. He's going to be on talking about how we can set up our Biceps for success in Azure. So really looking at using Bicep to generate those ARM templates. That's going to be our 2 sessions for the 16th of March. Please do RSVP. Follow us on Twitter at Welsh Azure and join in. You know, we always have a quiz. Matt is our quiz master. Oh, I may have given the game away a bit more there. So join us next month, 16th of March. Going to be another fun session. Yeah, that's about it on the Welsh Azure front. So let's head back on over. Okie dokie. What we'll do then is let's talk about Jonnychipz on the side. And so what have I been up to this week? And we'll get to my point about gaming as well. So, yeah, let's go and have a look at Jonnychipz on the side. So this week, it is Friday again, so we've got another episode of In Conversation With. But firstly, I know we mentioned Heiko earlier. He was on the Welsh Azure user group this week. I'd also done a session with him last Friday, around script runner and around how you can use things like script runner to kind of centrally store all of those PowerShell scripts that you've had over the years that are, like for me, they're all scattered across OneDrive and Notepad files and things like that. So it was a great session. Go and check that out. Yeah, like I said earlier on, I'm really looking forward to doing some more collaborations with Heiko in the very near future with a bit of luck. I mean, time is just a wonderful thing, how it seems to just disappear. So there's some links there. You can rewatch the video with Heiko. Huge thanks for being such an awesome guest. Really fun guy in the community as well. So go and check that out if you can. But like I said, it is Friday, so therefore we have a new episode coming out tonight, and it's none other than with my fantastic and awesome colleague Emma Dolling. So Emma is Dolled Up Data on Twitter. But it was really cool to kind of have that catch up with Emma, because I know Emma's been doing some fantastic things. I know she's involved with SQL Bits coming up fairly soon. And it was great to have a chat with Emma, as a friend, as a colleague, just talking about data, the wonderful world of data, because, Em's transition from her career journey into technology and where she is today working in the teams with me. It's just great. It's a great conversation, and we talk about data and, basically that whole move, how she went from being, she was a DBA for a few years, looking at data science and data services and things like that, and into a consultancy role. Yeah, we have a good chat. So that's airing tonight at 6:30 p.m. GMT. So please do go and check that out. That'll be cool. And yeah, thanks to Emma for joining me. So that's tonight. Okay, yeah, I mentioned earlier on, yesterday was all about the Tech Community Day, really, fantastic, and thanks to Adam and Steph for getting me on with the Welsh Azure to talk about that. I had a lot of fun. So, yeah, go and check that out. It was great. I was managing to watch a lot of it yesterday, but keep an eye on work as well. So there's lots going on. So huge thanks for that one. And also this week, in fact, today, with a bit of luck, we'll be releasing episode 5 already of our Silver Linings Runbook podcast. So for those of you who don't know, again, I've teamed up with 2 of my amazing colleagues, Dan Stradlin and James Storr, where I think we've got the majority of cloud space covered with all our kind of different experiences and skill sets and focus areas. So it turns into a bit of a cool, just a bit of a fun chat where we're just having a bit of a laugh, talking about technology and just seeing where these episodes take us. And I think episode 5, we talk around Azure Enterprise Scale Landing Zones. So, go and check that out. I think that will be dropping at some point today. I know Dan is away down the caravan in Storm Eunice as well. So take care, Dan, if you're down in your caravan with Storm Eunice blowing a gale. But I know he's got to stitch that together from an editing point of view and get it uploaded. So look out for that one. We are on Twitter under what are we under? Under SLR, at SLR Podcast. So Silver Linings Runbook. So there's that that's gone on this week. And yeah, okay, so back to my point around that gaming channel that Steph's launching with the reactor. So it's caught my eye purely from the point of view of, for IoT and augmented reality and mixed reality, there's this concept of, headsets, whether it's an Oculus headset or something like a HoloLens for augmented reality. They're created in effectively a gaming engine platform. Something like Unity is something that's caught my eye with actually how do you go about creating these environments and these spaces in a 3D world that you can then use for either gaming or for augmented and virtual reality kind of situations that you can then bring in other elements from across the across your business or whatever it is that you do and bring them into this space. So I actually watched a 2-hour session, and I forgot to write down the name of the guy that took it, but he's a guy over in Sweden, a Unity expert, and he had me gripped with this YouTube video. I'll try and find his name. It'll be on my YouTube history there, and I'll tweet it out because he just broke it down. He really took, you can see there hopefully on the screen, it's a classic breakout game, but he took you through from start to finish, and you can kind of see these blocks. It's a 2D game at the end of the day. Down here is a 2D view, but you can see these blocks are kind of spinning in an axis, giving that kind of 3D effect, all in an offset capacity. We've got our ball that's kind of being bounced up and down off a collision object there. That's got the appearance of some physics to it, that it'll go off against the perpendicular angle of whatever the surface is that it's hitting. I mean, after I took this picture, he took it even further with showing how you replace these kind of primitive objects within Unity with something a little bit more, meaningful, like a mesh object that is a paddle that's got some curvature to it, so you can send the ball off in different directions. It was just such a fun, interesting thing to see, and what made it more interesting for me was the fact that with Unity, you can kind of create landscapes, so you can kind of create terrain, and create your 3D world. And it's something that I've wanted to do for a while for these episodes, to have my own 3D world that I can kind of use my green screen, put myself in that scene and do some fun, funky things using Unity. So it's like anything. I'm meant to be on my hybrid cloud journey. I'm doing lots of hybrid cloud learnings at the moment with studying towards that AZ600 exam. But God, things like this just keep coming in and taking my focus away. But it's good fun. So like I say, back to the point of the video series that's going out about gaming across the London reactor with Steph. Steph Rogers is launching that series. That's going to be really I'm going to do my best to kind of follow along with that and build up my Unity knowledge, purely because I want to know, some basic things. I'm not going to become a Unity expert, absolutely no doubt. I still got a lot of coding to brush up on and get stuck in with, but trying to glue some basic things together just to allow me to understand conceptually how things should be working is really a cool thing. So yes, I would encourage anybody to go and check that out because it's really good fun and interesting stuff. So there we go. That was my reason for calling out that gaming piece. And last but not least, this week, it was actually my second wedding anniversary with my wifey. So we managed to catch some afternoon tea, as you do, which was very nice. And we went and did one of the breakout, those escape rooms as well, which was cool. So yeah, that's been my week. So happy anniversary to the wife for this week. If you're watching, she doesn't watch my shows, but I'll wave anyway. Yeah, so there we go. That's my week this week. Cool. So yeah, lots going on again, and I'm just going to find my news screen because I think what we'll do, there's been quite a lot of news announcements this week in all fairness, so I think we best just head on over and make a start on the news. And hello and welcome to the Azure News and Updates. Yes, I did say this was going to be a multi-cloud edition at some point. I've just not got round to doing it yet, so just another thing I've got to get on top of. So anyhow, what's going on with my camera? How could I possibly have a camera where you can see the magic slipping on at the side there. Can't have that, can we? Right, that's fixed now. Anyway, so yeah, some great news announcements this week. And we've got over 20 news announcements. So let's just get stuck in there now. So first kicking off, we've got Public Preview OCR supports 164 languages in the Cognitive Services Computer Vision. So it's expanded to 42 new languages, including Arabic, Hindi, and other languages using Arabic and Devanagari scripts. Devanagari scripts. I've never come across that word before. There we go. I'm going to have to look at that. And OCR support for handwritten text expands to Japanese and Korean, in addition to English, Chinese, simplified, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, and Spanish. So look, that detection from a printed text, handwritten text is really expanding across those languages for cognitive services, which is fantastic to see. Next up, GA Azure Sphere version 22.02 is expected on the 28th of Feb.
Here's something I found on the web.
Thanks, Alexa.
According to...
I don't know why Alexa just decided to chip in there. General availability, Azure tags support in AKS. So you can now apply tags to Azure Kubernetes Services Cluster and its related resources using the Azure Resource Manager and in CLI and PowerShell. So cool to see. CIS benchmarks for Kubernetes, so that's cool. So those security benchmarks, what have we got? Complies with SOC, ISO, PCI, DSS, and HIPAA for Kubernetes. Cool to see. Good news. We've got public preview. Kubernetes 1.23 is supported in AKS in public preview. And we've got generally available hot patch for Windows Server virtual machines. So you can patch and install updates to your Windows Server virtual machines on Azure without requiring any reboots using hot patch. So this capability is available exclusively as part of Azure Auto Manage for Windows Server and Azure Core Edition virtual machines. And it comes with the following benefits. So you can lower workload impact with less reboots, faster deployment of updates. As the packages are smaller, they install faster and have easier patch orchestration with Azure Update Manager, and of course better protection with the hot patch upgrade packages are scoped to Windows security updates that install faster without the need to reboot. So cool to see. Next up, public preview. Azure Monitor Predictive Autoscale for Azure Virtual Machine Scale Sets. So Predictive Autoscale uses machine learning to help manage and scale Azure Virtual Machine scale sets with cyclical workload patterns. That's pretty cool. So it can forecast overall CPU load to your virtual machine scale set based on historical CPU load patterns. And it'll observe and learn from historical usage, and it predicts the overall CPU load, ensuring that it can scale out in time to meet those demands. Really cool to see. And I think we said in the past, in the guests that I've had on my In Conversation With show, AI is absolutely making its way into everything. So it's cool to see that we've got this in public preview now coming into scale sets. So check that out. More public preview, App Service Environment v3 migration feature. You can utilize improved hardware, enhanced performance, and cost savings associated with App Service Environment v3 by using the new migration feature to move from an internal load balancer and external internet-facing public IP configuration in App Service version 2. So they've got a couple of regions that's in preview with at the moment. So if you are using an internal load balancer with a public IP, you can migrate that into an App Service v3 environment. Public preview. Cool. Generally available alert processing rules in Azure Monitor. So let's have a look at this then. So alert processing rules, formerly known as action rules, because we love a name change, Microsoft, provide post-processing capabilities for fired alerts in Azure Monitor, such as scheduled suppression and at-scale actions management. So following the updated public preview from December 21, this feature has now gone generally available. Good news. Developer portal widget for embedding custom HTML code. So you can use the custom HTML code widget to extend developer portals functionality when previously you had to develop your own widget and self-host the extended developer portal to embed a custom HTML code. For example, you can use custom HTML to embed a video or to add a form. The portal renders the custom widget in an inline frame, so like an iframe, to bring that HTML in. Good news, developer portal, widgets. Okay, public preview, Azure Tables extension for Azure Functions. Okay, I'm going to skip through a few of these now for a second. GA, virtual machine level, disk bursting supports additional VM types, cool. We've got database for Postgres SQL, additional regions available. Good news. And we got some new certifications for Postgres SQL Hyperscale. If you want to take a look at them, so there's some additional certs that it conforms to. Public preview, Azure Machine Learning February 22 announcements. Some more public preview announcements for that ML. And yeah, so new learning content on, as I mentioned earlier on, that Olivier Bloch had called out, new learning content on Iot Central homepage. So if you head on over to the homepage, take a look at that. There's some great information on there really to kind of help you understand Iot Central a little bit more and how it can help you. GA, automatically delete a VM and its associated resources simultaneously. Interesting. So automatically delete disks, NICs, and public IPs associated with a VM at the same time you delete the VM. With this feature, you can specify the associated resources that should be automatically deleted when you delete a VM. This will allow you to save time and simplify the VM management process. So cool to see. In development, yeah, I did spot this one actually. Price sheet download as a zip file. So I'm assuming this is related to the what is it related to? It's not the calculator. So we will enhance your price sheet download experience, and you'll be able to download from a single CSV file to a zip file containing multiple CSVs, each with a maximum of 200,000 records. The new experience will be available if you are using Azure in a small business environment. Cool to see. Public preview, cross-region virtual machine restore points. So now you can restore your virtual machine in any region of your choice, regardless of the region where your VM is deployed. So protect your Azure workloads by easily copying virtual machine restore points from one region to another. Awesome to see. And finally, public preview, resource configuration changes. So you can query across your subscriptions and tenants to discover changes to your resources with the Azure Resource Graph. Resource configuration changes enable you to find when changes were detected on an Azure Resource Manager property. You can see property change details for each resource change, and you can query changes at scale across all your subscriptions, management groups, and tenants. So really cool to see. So there we go. That's been the news this week. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Let's head back on over. Yeah, so there we go. Another show over with. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. You've been fantastic support. Please do like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Drop us a comment below. Anything you've seen, you agree, you disagree with, drop me some information below. Would be really cool to hear from you. So for now, thanks, everybody, for watching. This has been episode number 60. I'm Jonnychipz. Tune in again next week, but don't forget to watch In Convo tonight with Emma Dollin. See you all soon.